All right, I'm gonna walk you through my exact mindset, philosophy, and plan to make $20 million in this 2024-2025 crypto bull run, starting with something a little fun. I thought it might be interesting to start this video by buying into a meme coin. I found this one here on Sol called Pingy. It's been alive for 23 minutes and its market cap is 15K, liquidity 11K. So I think I'm gonna buy a couple of Sol or one Sol worth of this. And then at the end of the video, we're gonna update to see if it's gonna, it could fulfill the whole $20 million of this plan, or if we're up or down, just a little bit of fun on the side. All right, we're proud owners of 18 million Sol. You can see that should come in right here on the graph. There we are right here. There's our 2 Sol. There's our candle. We'll be back at the end of the video to see if we are up or down. Now, if that Pingy doesn't pay off, this is my overall plan. Now, this is Michael Saylor. You may know him. You should know him. If you don't, you need to go research him. He says that Bitcoin is going to go up forever, according to the Bitcoin power law. It's apparently the best store of value that we have ever had. It's probably the only scarce asset that's ever existed on Earth, and it follows this power law graph really well. I'm a big believer. Go do your own research to see if you want to believe it, but have a look at the results of if it is true. You can see Bitcoin sitting right here at about $63,000 today, and it's staying between these red and purple lines. You can see this graph gets quicker and more expensive really quickly. It's a logarithmic graph. And you can see by 2030, for example, Bitcoin's projected to be somewhere between 141,000 and 1.2 million, with 379,000 being the average. And if we project out to 2040, you can see that these numbers get crazy. $9 million at the high end, $4 million at the medium end, and $1.3 million at the low end. Let's just go off the middle number there. That's $4 million per Bitcoin. Now, I personally believe this is going to happen, and I think this is going to be one of the biggest wealth transfers in history, and all we have to do is buy Bitcoin consistently over time and store our wealth there. But I don't think that's going to get us to $20 million this year or next year, because it's going to take 16, 17 years before it hits that $4 million mark. So that's when we bring in the concept of the crypto whip. This is what Alex Becker has basically taught me. This is what he started doing. Bitcoin down here is at the handle of the whip. It's the least volatile asset, the best store of value in the world, and it's going to go up and to the right. But it drags with it a bunch of junk and a bunch of potentially good projects and utilities and technologies that are coming out day to day, that some will take off, but a lot of them won't. Think back to the dot-com crash. We had things like pets.com that came out and crashed, but then you had things like amazon.com that was really a revolutionary piece of technology and a really well-run company. That is what this crypto whip represents. You can see as you transcend down the whip travels faster and faster once you get it moving and once you get that momentum. Now, not only does it travel faster upwards, so if Bitcoin 2x's, Sandbox might 5x, and then Pal might 10x, and then something like Exceed Me might give you the 100x, just because this is in order of their market cap. That's how the whip works. It's just the lower the market cap, the more volatile the token is going to be. But remember, it also works in the down. So if Bitcoin goes down 2x, well, then you might lose 100x, or 100% should we say, on something like Exceed Me. And this has been evident over and over again. This is the Bitcoin price. If you want to compare this with something like Polygon, you want to zoom out to all time, you can see here in about February, Matic started to move up. Matic is in the orange here. Now, Matic was an altcoin back then, way smaller market cap. But you can see Bitcoin's price when Matic started to move was 33K, and it hit the all-time high of, what was it, about 64, 65, or was it $69,000? So it 2x'd. But in that time, this altcoin, which would have been further down the crypto whip, and it's moved up as it's got a bigger and bigger market cap, it went from literally like 2 cents up to $2. So that's a 100x return when Bitcoin would have given you a 2x return. So that is my goal, to ride the overall thesis of Bitcoin going up and to the right, but to play further down the whip to give myself leverage on those returns. But that leads us to the question. There's a lot of tokens, 33,000 or so, that are further down that whip that don't all perform really well. There's a few that do, and you can see there's mostly red ones here that actually don't. So how do we know which ones are the ones that are going to 100x, and how do we know which ones are going to burn all of our money to the ground? Well, hopefully Pingy, our nice meme coin, is one of them that will 100x. But this is the best thing that I've come across in crypto. You have to realize that apart from Bitcoin and a few core technologies that are going to be arising over the next 10 or so years, Most of this, or all of this, is just pure speculation. Fundamental analysis, technical analysis, I'm not a big fan of, because these aren't businesses. These projects don't have big profit margins, and people aren't pricing it accordingly, but instead it's basically pure speculation. And what I've found to be the most profitable strategy for myself, and I'm open to hearing other strategies, I just haven't seen it, is to copy trade the people who are the best traders in the world. This is Crypto God John, who he's made $500,000 days consistently since I started following him. Not every day, but he's posted them quite a few times, at least a dozen times I've seen them. And he looks at charts for 18 hours a day. This is Alex Becker. He's one of the biggest influencers. So you got the top traders, the biggest influence. He actually has influence over the market. When he buys something, this is the recent one that he bought here. Well, actually didn't buy. He's a seed investor, but he promoted it on his YouTube right here at this dip. This big candle is his promotion. And you can see it's going up and to the right because of this. We actually broke down G3 in our inner circle. Link in the description if you want to see the full breakdown, because this is one of Becker's new tokens. It's currently at a $14 million market cap circulating, and Becker thinks it's going to get to $100 million. If you want to see that breakdown, once again, link in the description below. Here's another one that Becker did. 5x over 15 days because Alex Becker bought, and people watch his wallet. People like us watch his wallet, and then he'll tweet about it, and the thing will absolutely skyrocket. So that's why we follow the top traders, the biggest influencers. Then we look at and we reverse engineer people who are really early on massive tokens, like the early adopters of the WIF token, and we track their wallets, we track their portfolios, we track their socials, and we break down what tokens they buy, all inside the inner circle. This isn't actually supposed to be a promotion. This is just what I'm doing for myself to try and get the best returns, and then we've turned it into a service for you guys, so you guys can come in and share and also contribute. We've found a lot of really awesome returns from people like you in there who have come across the token. We did the breakdown, and then we invested and did really well. And so that's the best way that I've found to separate the tokens that are going to do really well from the ones that are going to drop off the face of the world. Now, as the bull run may come to a close, because if we go back to our power law, you can see it's not just all up and to the right. It is on average, but you can see it's going to crash after their bull runs. And at the moment, I believe we're going into a bull run. We've got the halving, we've got the ETFs. And if you zoom out far enough on Bitcoin, it's a consistent bull run, but it does go up and down. And I sort of want to conserve as much value as possible on the downs, which means, remembering the crypto whip, these are the most volatile ones. So once I've made some 10x's, some 100x's, I'm going to be transferring that wealth back up this whip into, of course, Bitcoin, because that is the one that's going to be the least volatile, and the one that Michael Saylor says is going to be going up forever. And based on his work, no one likes these videos. We put out these videos. You can see we got 10K views, 14K views, 12K views, 10K views, 60K views, 1.7K views. No one likes the Michael Saylor video, so I'm hiding it in here for you. Even though it might be the most valuable stuff we put out, no one wants to watch it. But let me show you 10 seconds of it, and keep watching. Don't skip ahead. Michael Saylor is leveraging the power graph, this up and to the right graph of Bitcoin. And he's found what a lot of people are calling an infinite money glitch, where he's a publicly traded company who issues new shares, sells them for dollars, obviously, uses those dollars to buy Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin goes up, and therefore the price of his shares go up, and he does this over and over again. And the amount of Bitcoin that is owned per share for his company is consistently going up, even though he's issuing new shares. So he's basically transferring sand into gold, which is an infinite money glitch, or a modern day alchemy. And I'm like, well, this is sort of what we're doing with this crypto whip, right? This is basically useless tokens, in-game currencies, and new technologies that are really just speculation. And if you can take those way less valuable tokens and projects and transfer it into something like the new digital gold of Bitcoin, you're transferring speculation into real value. But I can only do so much of that myself. Say I copy trade Alex Becker, I copy trade Crypto God John, and a few other people, and I get some nice 5x's, some nice 20x's, maybe even get a 2x, but if I can put a few $100,000 in there because my conviction's so high, I could make a couple $1 million in this next bull run, which I do plan to. But you may have seen the title is 20 million. So that led me to ask the question, how do we put more leverage and how do we get better results using this thesis? Because I'm pretty obviously confident in this thesis. I'm dedicating the next few years to it. And that's when it struck me. Something like OXO. This is a token. Crypto God John recommended it way back here at 1 cent. I've been writing it up. It's been an excellent time. It's at a $300 million market cap. And if we're going to be really honest, it's built entirely once again on speculation. They say they're an AI that does smart contract auditing. That's a really hard thing to do, and they don't have a working product on that yet. They do have a privacy dex. The volume's not there yet, but it could grow to it. But essentially, this is a $300 million project that has a lot of volume, $1 million of volume. And the thing about this volume is there's a buy and sell tax on it. So they've launched this project. It's essentially fluff that people speculate on at the moment, and I'm speculating on this fluff too. I've got a lot of money in OXO at the moment, so it's not like I don't want to see it go up. I just know it's not fundamentally based on what the project is currently doing, but speculating on what it might do in the future, and speculating on all the mainstream people who are going to come in and buy this token from us in about 6 months from now. But that made me thought, what if you could convert this amount of volume back into Bitcoin using the Michael Saylor strategy? You've seen countries do it. You've seen businesses do it. I've yet to see, although there is one or two projects in the DeFi space who do this, I'm yet to see it done in this particular fashion, which is taking your buy and sell tax and backing your token and your project with Bitcoin or other really high quality assets. And I did some math on this. This is OXO's buy and sell volume. If we get the total over this is how many days it's been around, 368 or just over a year now. You can see back here was at 2 cents. You can see it's at $431 million of volume. And they had so let's just do some quick maths here. Which means in just transaction fees for buying and selling into this project, they have generated over $20 million. And they actually redistribute it to the token holders. You can go and you can claim it in Ethereum, and that works kind of well. But I thought, just like MicroStrategy has a treasury of Bitcoin and people can invest in their stock in order to get access to that Bitcoin, just imagine if OXO had transferred that back into something like Bitcoin, had it in the treasury, and backed the token in some form by it so they had access to that, and it would really limit that downside and that volatility in a bear market. So that's what we're planning to do. We're launching a project. It's called Archie. Now, Archie basically wants to make it as easy as possible to transact on the blockchain. Why is it so complicated? Why are you looking at hashes and slippage and all these things? If you give your MetaMask to your mum, can she buy and sell crypto? No. Why? Why not? I feel like the next billion users are going to need a way easier interface. So we're planning on building that thanks to the power of course, AI and all the research that we've been doing. So we've got some awesome features coming up on that. But the biggest thing will be taking the transaction fees, converting it to Bitcoin, and having that make all the holders in on this power law dynamic and riding that up to the right with leverage, because every day people are going to be buying and selling a token, which means we can scoop up more Bitcoin, we can scoop up more other really valuable assets, put it into the Archie treasury, and ride this power law all the way up into 2040. That's my plan. I want to hear your thoughts on it, and let's go back and check how Pingy is doing. It doesn't look good if we're looking at this graph here. I'll pull up exactly, that doesn't look good at all. Let's have a look where our 2Sol went. We'll go home. We're only down 46%. Fingers crossed Pingy pulls back. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button for me, and I'll see you in the next one.